Welcome to Oily Animal Monday. I'm Angela, and I'm going to share with you tonight about cats and healthy lymph nodes. This was actually by request. I don't personally have any cats, but I did do some research, and I'm looking at different options and things you can do to keep your cat's lymph nodes healthy. So I think that the person who had this had somebody who has a cat that has a lot of like swollen lymph nodes. So I did some research, and I have oil recommendations, and I also have supplement recommendations for you. So let's start with the oils. And keep in mind, this is going to be dependent on like amounts and how frequent and all of that, dependent on how much you have had or exposed your cat to oils prior to this and having a need for topical use. Just keep in mind that when used in small quantities, because our oils are so potent and pure, that you want to use very small amounts and dilute, especially on a cat, depending on the size and again how much exposure they've had. So the top 3 oils that I found that I would recommend if you need extra support for lymph nodes would be frankincense, ledum, and copaiba. Frankincense and copaiba would probably be the ones that I would start with. They're very gentle, and they're not, frankincense can be fragrant or is fragrant, but it's very gentle oil. So if you have exposed your cat to those oils previously, then you maybe wouldn't necessarily need to dilute as much. So you guys will have to tell me, do you have cats? I'd love to know. And if you have cats, how many? Or are they inside or outside as you're getting connected? But like, let's say, for example, frankincense. Maybe you use frankincense topically on yourself every day. You diffuse it, so your cat's exposed to it. We use it a lot in my house. So if I had cats, they would have a lot of exposure to it. I'm using it topically. I'm using it topically on my dogs. I'm diffusing it a lot. So there would be a lot of exposure. But if you've never even taken the lid off of your frankincense, then your cat hasn't had much exposure to it. So I would dilute it more for those. But frankincense, copaiba, and ledum are all going to be really great to use topically. So I would recommend at least diluting 1 drop of the oil of your choice to start with and 1 drop of copaiba. If you haven't ever used oils on your cat and you're not really diffusing regularly or not diffusing one of those oils or using those oils regularly, then you might start with 1 drop of oil and like 5 drops of V6. So that's going to help you to not have it be as potent. Always let your cat smell it beforehand. I do have a video about introducing oils properly to animals, so you can search #oilyAnimals for that video to learn how to properly introduce them. So you'd let the animal smell it. You don't take it and put it right against their nose. You can take the lid off of it and sit it on the floor and see if your cat leaves the room or see if your cat comes up to it curious, because they can smell it from a really great distance because they are so sensitive. And again, that's why a little bit goes a long way. So once you've got it and you've decided how you're going to blend it, then I would rub it together on your hands so that it's kind of mixed well, and you can put it along their spine. So you can literally just pet them along their spine along their tail, and you can do it then on their back legs. You don't need to put it right near their face or their nose or anything like that. They're going to get plenty of benefit from it, and that it will be great for them. So just know that. If you don't want to put it on them topically, you can do a 4-ounce glass bottle, and you could do 5 drops of the oil of your choice. So if you wanted to start with copaiba or frankincense, do 5 drops of that, fill the rest with distilled water, and then you could put like a little smidgen of salt. So that helps it to, is it emulsify? Is that the word I'm looking for? I think, so that the oil and water mixes a little better. And then before using it, you would just kind of give it a little shake. This obviously is not a 4-ounce spray bottle, but you don't shake it vigorously. Just a small little like turn like that. It helps it to mix up well. So then you could use that spray like around the house, on the carpets, or I would probably wait and do it on the cat's bed after you've sprayed it in other areas of the house where the cat might hang out. And so then the cat's getting exposure to it. You can spray it in the air, help them to get exposure, that kind of thing. So any questions about that? I love it. Lots of cats. Yay for the cats. That's awesome. Okay, so what else? So those would be my top 3 oils. Now, longevity is an oil blend, so you could use that one topically as well, or you can use the soft gels and give that to the cat internally. So that's a supplement or an oil option. I use the longevity personally on myself topically, but I've never used it on my dogs, but that's because I don't think I've ever had a need or anything that I've seen. Two really great supplements that are going to be good for healthy lymph nodes are going to be Ningxia Red and multigreens. So now multigreens is a capsule. You can take it apart and it's literally like your vegetables in a capsule. And so it's like a powder. And so you could give them half of a capsule of multigreens at each meal. And then the Ningxia Red, I would probably start with a half a teaspoon, I think that it is. And you can actually mix like frankincense or copaiba with that and then stir it in food. Now, I would probably do a food that they really like a canned, soft, I don't know, whatever you do, if you rehydrate a food that's dehydrated or something that's moist, that's going to be really helpful so that it's something they really like, that they're eating. It's like a treat for them. And you can do that frequently, then you can increase the Ningxia Red slowly as well. So after you've done like a half a teaspoon twice a day, then you can increase to a teaspoon twice a day type of thing. So you can even go slower than that. You could do a quarter of a teaspoon once a day and then a quarter of a teaspoon twice a day after 3 days, maybe 7 days. Just depends on how quickly you want to really get the issue under control. Let's see. What else? I think, yeah, cool. So the last thing that I'll mention is raindrop technique. Raindrop technique, I'm a huge believer in that because I have helped Grizzly when he was really sick, and same thing with Bela. And it's good for so many things. It just creates alignment in our bodies. So it's good for spinal issues. It's good for health issues, whatever you might be dealing with. That is really, really good. You can actually do it daily. So again, you would probably dilute. So if I was doing this on a cat, I would do 1 drop of oil and maybe 5 drops of V6 so that it's pretty diluted. And then you just rub it, literally like pet them along their spine all the way to the tip of their tail. And then you can rub it on other parts of their body as well, just so that they get it, but the spine being the most important part of it. And again, you can do that daily. That's what I did with Bela when she had her cervical issues and she couldn't walk, couldn't stand, that kind of thing. So those are my recommendations. So just to recap, the oils, frankincense, ledum, and copaiba. My top 3 supplement choices would be longevity, Ningxia Red, multigreens, of course using V6 to dilute the oils as needed, and then raindrop technique. So if you guys have any questions and I missed them, I'll come back because the comments are loading funny. So I'll come back and check out the comments and all of that shortly. But make sure you're tagging your friends. So your friends who have cats, if you have ideas for an oily animals topic, let me know. I'd love to know that. I will talk to you later. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.